I'm your host, as always, Patrick McFarlane. This is a special episode of Vital Dissent. In this one, we're going to be talking about 10 things that I learned as a lawyer. I already picked it like a lawyer reveals 10 realities about the law. But the thing that makes this special, aside from that, is that during this episode, I'm going to be playing video games and live streaming the content, but interacting with the chat and hopefully. Last time I've been doing video game live streams, I've been getting like listeners in the chat asking questions. So I'm hoping that we can kind of like bounce off of that. So the game that we're going to be playing in this episode is Hell Let Loose, which is one of my favorite World War II video games. But before we get started here, I'm just going to like check and make sure that everything is functioning properly so that this isn't ridiculous. And yeah, I see everything's up. So if you are not already on my email list, check out vitaldissent.club. My supporting members, you can subscribe for $5 a month or $55 a year for premium supporting member content here, vitaldissent.club. I just put out, on the topic of being a lawyer, I just put out like an email newsletter. That's what the whole thing is. This attorney, Amy Howe, put together, and she blogs all these Supreme Court opinions, and she provides like unbiased coverage. And it doesn't have any political spin or anything like that. But if you really just want to understand what the opinion actually says, but you don't have the time or desire to actually read it, go to scotusblog.com and you can read it, basically like a condensed version of it. And it's a hack that saves a lot of time for people that just don't have time to read through an entire opinion, like if you're a regular person or if you're a really busy attorney. So super useful resource there. But let's get started with Hell Let Loose here. And if you're in the chat, please do stop in and say hello. If you're on Twitter and watching this, go to the reply section. And if you reply on the video where this is being streamed, I can see it. And I can answer your questions, and that'll give me content to, make this more interesting. Hey, Minder. I was hoping that you would show up. So Minder says, it's been a while, no time for gaming. Yeah, pretty much, man. Like, things have been pretty busy. So I ran a half marathon in Duluth, Minnesota 2 weeks ago. I'm trying to monitor these volumes here. So not this past weekend, but the weekend before. And so I was training for that. And, the kids keeping me busy. I got 3 boys, young boys, and work has been pretty busy as well. And let's hope that the game is going to work here. Yeah, so it was my second half marathon that I've done. I'm just trying to make sure that Hell Let Loose is actually going to show up on the screen. If not, I might have to relaunch this, which would be terrible. There we go. Here it is. All right, so for those of you guys who don't know, Hell Let Loose is like a realistic simulation of World War II. Okay, Minder is going to step away for a little bit. I'm hoping a certain few people will show up in the chat who have been attending before. So one thing, I don't know, there's so many different things that I learned as a new lawyer. And I guess one thing was I was surprised at how, like, once I decided to go out on my own, I was really surprised at the lifestyle that being an attorney opened up for me. One with my own business where I didn't have to like, because a lot of people talk about like, oh, you know, the joke is that you apply to work at a firm and they say, everybody says, oh, we care about, work-life balance and we want you to be able to go to your kids' ball games and do all that kind of stuff and have kids in the first place. But that's always, the reality of it is that you're going to be either chained to your desk or you're going to be practicing all the time. And that's just the way that it is. But once I decided to start my own firm and go out on my own, technology has really allowed you to do that with very low overhead. So you don't need huge startup costs. You don't even need an office. Most courthouses have conference rooms that you can just rent, or you can hop in. And when I say rent, I mean use for free. So you can just tell your clients, oh, well, when you need to meet, just meet at the courthouse. And I had no problem getting clients that way. None of them were sketched out or like skeezed out that I wanted to meet at the courthouse, or none of them thought I was less professional for doing so. And so I worked from home using this computer that I'm streaming from right now, and I used my cell phone. I got a call forwarding service. I got like a firm management software for my computer that was like, you can access it from any web browser and it only costs like $300 a year. So for that, when I first started out, my overhead was maybe like with bar dues and malpractice insurance and like the practice management software, maybe $2,000 a year for all of your overhead, something like that. I mean, bar dues are like $500. I think malpractice insurance is like less than $1,000 a year, and depending on what your practice area is and what you're gonna do. And the other thing is that like practice, like especially practicing in a rural area, you gotta be willing to do that. I think it's a lot easier if you do that if you want to go out on your own. But doing it in a rural area is a lot easier because there's not a lot of competition right now. Because there's an entire generation of lawyers that's dying off right now. And there's no one stepping in to replace them. Like one of the things is that there's just the amount of new lawyers coming in is not very high. And I don't know exactly why that is, if it's like a population thing or if it's a cultural thing, because here's the second secret of being a lawyer, is that while some attorneys do get paid a lot, like they do make a lot of money, the pay is still bullshit. Like when you're just out of law school, like I think the first job that I got as a lawyer was, I think the base pay was like $30,000 or $40,000 a year, or like $36,000 a year. But I had an incentive to where like after I hit $40,000 of billing in a year, it was either 40 or 60. Then everything I billed on top of that, I think like 2/3 of it would be mine, or like one or half of it would be mine, or something like that, which is a great incentive. But when you're just out of law school, you're not going to hit that billing target for maybe a year or two. And especially at the rate I was billing, which was when I first graduated, they started me at $150 an hour, which sounds like a lot to, probably people who aren't in the legal field. But I guess maybe that's what like plumbers or welders would make, or carpenters or something like that. But for an attorney, after, you don't go through the same like education requirements as doctors, but you go through undergrad and then law school on top of that, 7 years after high school. Just not a whole lot. But then the next job that I worked at, it was like based on contingency fee. So you wouldn't make a recovery unless you won something for your client. But I wasn't getting that. I was salaried at like $60,000 a year starting. And for an attorney, that's not, I mean, it's not a whole lot for all the education. So you kind of build that up, but once you go, out on your own, you have more control over your own destiny. So, okay, so I'm just getting in game here. I'm gonna release this as an episode of the podcast, so it might be like confusing to people, I guess, who aren't watching the video version. But the video version of the gameplay is on YouTube. Oh yeah, so I need to use a stream overlay so that it's a rule in the game. If you're live streaming, you need to use a stream overlay so that people can't see the map. I really like to be a rifleman. Let's see, I'll just be a rifleman for this. So in this game, it's based on realism. So there's like, people joke that it's like a walking simulator because if you don't play the game right, you spend a lot of time walking and spawning. But essentially it's like a realism, one of the most realistic World War II online shooters out there. And a lot of people say that you need to like communicate with your squad mates and stuff like that. So I might be talking to squad mates during the gameplay. And for those of you, like I'm hoping this translates well to an audio only version. If I can provide enough commentary. But if you're in the chat or watching, don't hesitate to say hello. So one of the rules of the game is like, probably shouldn't walk in an open field. I'm probably gonna die here. So once I went out on my own, I was able to bill at a more respectable rate with like minimal overhead. And it really allowed me the freedom to set my own hours and work as much as I want to or need to hit, like I set my own billing goals. And that's one thing that I wish they'd, like, I remember people talking about it. I remember my law school kind of advertising that if you started your own firm and did the solo and small practice, you'd have a lot more freedom. And it's really needed in the profession. But I remember thinking at the time that I was a law student, like, I would never do that. Like, that sounds awful. There's all this responsibility that you have to have outside of just practicing the law. So not only do you have to be good at doing your cases and managing your caseload and being a good lawyer, but you also need to do customer support. I mean, you got to do that anyways, but damn it. You have to be able to, manage your customers, run a business, deal with staffing issues, budget, deal with regulatory stuff, deal with marketing, do all that crap. And actually, I need to make sure that I do the streamer mode. I was going through this when I was playing by myself. And of course now I can't find it. Oh, you can have a clan tag? Streamer mode on. There it is. Okay, now I'm doing good things. Now I'm not breaking the faux pas. And yeah, like I said, if this turns out to be like a boring disaster, I wouldn't do this anymore. Do a live stream as an episode. So other things that I realized being a lawyer is that things work so different. I mean, the reality of how the criminal justice system works. There's a lot of things that are like the reality of once you join a profession or get out in the workforce, it's very similar with the laws that you realize that like no one knows what they're doing, or like there's this illusion of competence that you have sometimes when you're a customer or when you're dealing, and sometimes there isn't that illusion when you get frustrated with people that are just incompetent. But there is this like illusion of competence, and oh god dang it. Here, there's a medic who's saving me. Thank you. Well, I died that time. So like the illusion of competence is definitely something that's broken through when you realize, another lawyer described it to me as, at one point I realized that you don't have to be a perfect lawyer, you just have to be better than that fucking idiot, is what they said. So, yeah, you can see what some of the problems are with this game sometimes when you're not like, I don't know, when you're not in your groove. I have been playing a lot of Helldivers, or at least I was. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to translate into an episode of the show. There's too much quiet time. It's kind of like a viewing only. It's like I have no idea where they are. Ah. Yeah, there's no way this is going to be an episode of the show. Someone in the chat says, this game makes me want a cigarette. Yeah. So I'm using, in the game, I'm using a Lee Enfield MK2 Mark IV. I have this rifle in real life. I think MK1 stands for like Mark IV. Why are they to the south of us? Like their line of attack. Oh god. That is definitely a German machine gun. Shit. Why the fuck would that be popping up in the middle of the... What was that? What? Here, let's just throw a grenade 3 feet in front of us. What is that? Retarded. Punished because I killed myself? Yeah, I wonder if showing the map is something that they don't want you to do when you're streaming. I don't think I've fired my rifle once. I haven't even seen an enemy. See, that's the kind of the shitty part about Hell Let Loose sometimes. But it is fun as hell when you're on the other side and it's not you that's running up, dying over and over again. Especially when the people who are in charge of your squad that set OPs that are close to where the action is. So what's another thing about the law? I guess part of it is that this illusion of competence, but it's also like, I don't know, you assume that there's not a mistake made in every case. I mean, generally, like, mistakes aren't all that super common necessarily, but it's like things don't always, I don't know, go the way that they're supposed to. You also learn that a lot of the weaponized anger about the court system is based on, like, people who have grievances about the court system and about how it went and all this stuff. They either don't understand how the court system works, or they're just fucking wrong about their case. Sounds like my child. One of my children is are upstairs. Meaning that he's not in bed when he should be. Alright, let's see, I gotta bring up the overlay again. Alright. I just saw a dude. There he is. Shit. He definitely saw me when I shot at him. He was a machine gunner. So you can tell when enemies are near your garrisons because they... Yep. You spawn and they shoot you. And like spawn killing is definitely allowed in this game because that's kind of like how it works. Is that you need to find and destroy the enemy spawn points. Thank you. Yeah. I swear I'm not this bad at this game. These spells just happen. But yeah, a lot of anger directed at like the court system is just because people don't understand what's happening. And of course, I understand why that's aggravating or upsetting. But I think it detracts from like the real injustices that happen when people are just mad because, I don't know, the judge did something that they don't understand. As opposed to like, and it makes me cringe when people like, maybe here's the fourth thing. Especially when libertarians post all this outrage stuff about things in the court, things that happened. Like I got on the bad side of some Mises Caucus people because they posted some bullshit about a family law case in, I think it was in Utah or California or something. It was in California. And they had all this outrage about what happened because I think it was the police showed up and took a child away from the mother because of like a placement ruling. And they were upset because they're like, well, this is the state just taking a child away from its parents and this is wrong. But what they, I don't know, they have no idea what the actual facts were about the case. And they don't understand that, like, both parents have rights to raise their children. And so if there was sufficient evidence to support a ruling that one parent was entitled to take the children away from the other parent, then that's enforcing one parent's rights over the other. It's not the state directly taking the children away. Got him! 1 kill. And to be clear, this game is not... I should get out of the way. This game is not about getting kills. It's about supporting your team and capturing spawn points and, like, doing your role. But it certainly is fun to get kills. Or to see the enemy. Helps when you face the right direction. Oh, he's shooting at me. And yeah, when you get shot at, it has like this confounding effect. Confounding effect. Where you're suppressed. Text my wife. Yeah. Damn, they are all over the place up here, I guess. Crap. I have no idea where they are. I mean, I know they're in this general direction, but I don't see anything. Are they behind us? Maybe they're behind us. Damn it. I should have known that if I chose to play this game, I'd get my ass kicked. It really is like hit or miss though. Like sometimes things go really well and sometimes they just do not. That is a enemy tank. One thing I really like that they captured about this game is that the Lee Enfield was made so as not to disturb your aim. Like, you should be able to keep it shouldered, staring down the sights, and cycle the bolt without messing up your aim at all. Crap, we're screwed. We lost this point. There's just no way. At least I got one kill on the point. There is definitely a pitched battle going on here, though.
Saturate. Don't go there. Don't go there. Come back. Come back.
Thanks. I forget which button is the local chat and which one is the... This is stressful. just gonna go down here. Try to hide a little bit. Maybe I can flank them. Come on. Still a tank there. Starkiller base. Damn it. Oh, I'm an idiot, dude. That's like, what does the cat do when he finally catches the mouse? Ah. I had like 5 guys right in front of me. Alright, let's try again. Oh, this is intense, dude. Nice battle here. Oh. Fuck. He's gonna shoot me. Yeah, I destroyed an enemy outpost, man. That was awesome. At least I did something. I think we lost the game, though. This is our last spawn point, like our last hard point. Pretty intense. Yeah. Oh, that's a tank. Oh, that was dumb. That was dumb of me. I would have died anyways. Alright, after this match is over, I'm gonna grab a beer quick. Damn it. We lost all the spawn points. And that sounds like the clock for us to lose. Time's up. Oh wait, what is going on? I think I got him. The match didn't end. We have one last point. So there's 30 more minutes, unless we lose it before then. Crap. They're gonna make a sprint to the new point. All right, again, if you're watching in the chat, please like say hello and ask me questions so I can talk about things. Hey, Minder's back. You didn't miss much. I killed a few people and I destroyed an outpost, but I died a lot, which is kind of what happens in this game. Have you ever played this game? Minder, I thought if this went well that I would release it as an episode of Vital Descent, but I forgot. I don't know, I kind of counted on the fact that I would be like saying things the whole time, which I clearly am not, so it would be a nightmare to edit, so it's not going to happen. We're just getting wrecked by the German team right now. The Brits are very underpowered in this game. Minder says he hasn't played video games since like 2002. Do you have kids? A lot has happened in the world of video games since 2002. That was stupid. Oh, 2 kids. 2 and 4, okay. Yeah, so you know how it is, bro. So one thing I did this week is
I killed the guy that killed you.
Oh, thanks, bro. Hey, maybe now I'm going to have a conversation with the guy on my team.
And then I died.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. Sometimes I get like a wild hair up my ass where I get like this idea in my head and I just have to do it. And so this week I decided that I wanted to get a terrarium for my office and get a frog, like a rainforest frog, to be like a calming presence in my office. And so I bought a terrarium and I got a red-eyed tree frog today, and I should not be running out into an open field. So that happened. That's what I get for running in an open field. I gotta make sure I don't drink too much because I gotta go run in the morning. So, okay, so Minder has a great question. Thank you. What is my take on people who attempt to not pay taxes or have licenses for their businesses, and when state employees come for a visit, they use merchant law against them somehow? This is a lot to unpack. So generally, I kind of confronted this early on in my career when I started practicing that, you know, in theory, in spirit, I'm behind people who want to, you know, who are anarchists and who don't believe in government authority. In theory, I'm behind them, but in practice, I'm annoyed by them because it's like, in my opinion, like if you're gonna make like a very radical legal stand, like do your homework first of all. Also go into it knowing that you're gonna lose, but do it for the sake of making a statement instead of just like trying to squirrel around through legal loopholes, which don't exist, by the way. Like, all this like sovereign citizen bullshit, it's not based on natural law and natural rights. It's based on the idea that there's some kind of piece of legislation that existed in the past that provides a legal loophole that you're able to do something, like, or be exempt from something because of that loophole. And it's bullshit. Like, all the sovereign citizen posse comitatus stuff is all based on legal fictions, where, like, I found a few in my, like, some of my research, because I would get kind of out of the, especially when I was doing my anti-COVID stuff, people would seek me out or go to my events and they would present me with this legal loophole stuff, this legal fiction stuff. And they would say, hey, what do you think about this? And I would say, yeah, that's bullshit. And they didn't want to hear that it was bullshit, so they wouldn't listen. That's usually what would happen. So some people use merchant law. Oh, I got him. Some people use things like merchant law, which is, I assume, so there is something as the Uniform Commercial Code, and it is like based on actual practice, like, so businesses in their common practice, especially businesses that are dealing with goods, in their common practice, they have ways of doing things and conducting business. And there was something called the Uniform Commercial Code that sought to codify actual, there, I got a few kills, actual practice of businesses. And I wonder if I got them. And it's kind of based on the Lex Mercatoria, which is like the ancient medieval codification of how merchants would do business in medieval Europe. And the United States developed its own version of this Lex Mercatoria, except it was codified in a statute called the Uniform Commercial Code. And I assume, Minder, that you're talking about how they will try to use, I don't know, the Lex Mercatoria or something as a piece of common law to say that I'm not under your jurisdiction because the law, like the common law of merchants, governs me instead. Like, I just hate that shit because it's, well, actually, I don't know. If you're basing your resistance to the authority of the U.S. government on a piece of common law that is like founded in natural rights, I'm more for that than I am people who use positive law to try to ground their beliefs. And yeah, it's ultimately a question of jurisdiction. I haven't listened to Cal Washington, so I'm completely unfamiliar with who that is or what arguments he uses. But if it's anything that's not based in like natural rights, like in the idea that like the government is a gang of thieves, like a Lysander Spooner kind of I didn't consent to the social contract type of constitution, no one signed anything, the government has no authority because it's, you know, a group of people, like the social contract idea or all that is myth. I'm more behind that than I am someone hearkening to a piece of legislation that they want to be governed under. But I guess at the end of the day, Minder, it's just like, okay, well, the government has a gun, and they give you, notice and an opportunity to be heard, due process. But at the end of the day, whether you think they have jurisdiction or not, if they find that they have jurisdiction, then they're gonna fucking put it in your face and make you do what they want you to do, no matter what you say or how hard you kick and scream. So, I say, pay your taxes. You can protest and make it hard, sure, but I say, unless you can get, 100,000 of your closest friends to not pay taxes with you, pay your taxes, stay out of jail, keep your property, and keep spreading the ideas of liberty and freedom, and not have all your assets seized, not go to prison, not deprive your loved ones and your family and the people that rely on you from having, a responsible, caring, loving adult human being be in their lives. They tend to use a lot of notices of liability to win their legal battles. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't know the specific details of what you're talking about, Minder. Like, I suspect that there's more to the story than that. But I don't know. It sounds interesting. But that's just my opinion on all that kind of legal stuff. All that kind of, like, sovereign citizen, posse comitatus, legal fiction kind of stuff. I have checked out some of these people, and they'll straight up just cite cases that are made up gobbledygook that don't exist. So I have seen that before. Alright, now I'm starting to get a little bit more in the zone. Ah! Like, I mean, if you got an entire town of people to say that, no, we're no longer under the jurisdiction of, the state of whatever, and we're not going to pay our taxes anymore, that would be great. I mean, I'm not gonna lie though, Minder, like, I've developed a lot of contempt for these types of people since I started practicing. Part of it is just because they're so difficult to deal with, and they're fucking assholes. I've never had to deal with one, though, as a criminal, like... So, essentially, this is what the U.S. Oh, he does it to fight mandates more so than taxes. Well, I'll tell you, in order for the government to have jurisdiction over you criminally, pretty much all they have to prove is that you committed an offense within their geographical territory. So that's kind of like, okay, that's what it is. And they're gonna prove that no matter what it is. There was a huge court ruling that took place, basically saying that the vaccine mandates only get rational basis review because it's clear that they're not, like, the vaccines do not prevent the spread. Like, they don't grant immunity. So therefore it was downgraded from, strict, or, I think they found that it doesn't meet rational basis or something like that. And I'm talking about the tiers of constitutional review through the 14th Amendment in federal courts when it has to do with these mandates. I did an episode on it, but I just don't remember all the details. It's been a while since I've thought about it. Maybe you would remember what that the case that they all rely on. I think it's Jacobson to justify vaccine mandates. But there was like a federal case that dealt with the 14th Amendment and the Bill of Rights, and it ruled that Jacobson versus Massachusetts, that essentially, since vaccines provided immunity, they could mandate vaccines, but they determined that since the COVID vaccines don't provide immunity, that they can't mandate them. Man, imagine how like terrifying this would be to actually do this. This is like very realistic in the sense of how difficult it is to actually hit people at range with these iron sights. Somebody's got eyes on me. Like, in many ways, this is actually a lot easier to hit someone at range with iron sights in this video game. I'm gonna die. I can't see anyone. Somebody's out there. Shit. Yeah. So Jacobson versus Massachusetts. Like, I'm doing a vaccine case right now where people are, like, parents are fighting over whether to give the kids the vaccine. And I won the case first, but then Dad de novo reviewed it, which means, like, if you have a contested hearing in front of a court commissioner and you get an adverse ruling, you can appeal it to the circuit court judge in something called a de novo. And de novo basically means, like, a redo. So I'm not looking forward to it because it's just, the first one was highly contentious. It took all day, and I still think I'm gonna win. I did an episode about it. It said how to stop your ex from vaccinating the kids, or something like that. Mind you, you're not actually Swedish, are you? Like, from Sweden? You're just a Swedish stock. Swedish ancestry. Here. Let's throw a good old nade. They're in those flowers. Someone's shooting at me. I wish that my squad would communicate more. Maybe that's why part of why we're losing. Damn it. Should go over my stats just to see, like, how exactly bad I'm doing. It said the north is being pushed hard. Oh god. So I'm curious, you know. Oh, Minder grew up in Sweden. That's awesome. How old were you when you came over? I haven't been to Sweden, but I spent some time in Iceland and time in Germany 10 years ago. not gonna punish my team killer. Shot me in the fucking head. 19 when you left. Dude, that's pretty cool, actually. So does that mean that you're a hockey fan? Some of my favorite hockey players are Swedish. Yeah, I remember. Do you remember when Tim Pool got famous? Partly because I think it was him and Luke Rudkowski that went to Sweden and went to Malmo or something and went into the no-go zones. Is that kind of what you're talking about, how it's changed? And I'm sorry, Minder, we might have talked about hockey at one point in time, but I just don't remember. Yeah, but is that what you were talking, or what you're talking about when you say that it changed a lot? Yeah. And I wonder if that's because, like, you know, with Libya and Syria and the Middle East being destroyed, people, like, that influx of refugees. Here, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a beer. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, we're talking about the, complaining about how many migrants are coming to Sweden while the, I forget the name of the song is playing, the German, Blumenlein or something. Ein kleines, I can't remember exactly what it's called. So, Minder, one of my favorite things is, let's do a machine gunner. Yes, I got the machine. So out of all the things I do in this game, I am the best machine gunner. Just saying. So I was a busy week this week. One of the things that I got was finally got a gun safe for all my friggin' guns. And family moved to Stockholm.
So good news, sir.
Hang on, you got
Oh, really? Well, so geography. I've been to Finland. I went to Tampere in 2014.
Go for it.
I'm just trying to like think of where that is in relation to Sweden. Oh yeah, it's kind of like near Stockholm. I don't know. Tampere is like in southern Sweden or Finland, not on the ocean. Let's see that. Zoom. I liked Finland a lot. It actually was exactly. Where do you live now, Minder? Because when I was in Finland, I thought it looked exactly like Minnesota. Like if you, like it was even more uncanny than falling asleep on a bus in Germany and waking up and thinking that you're going through like South Central Wisconsin. Communist Canada. Yeah. Oh, okay. That you live in Canada now. Whereabouts in Canada? Because I have some ties to British Columbia. Just a little bit. I have some ties to one of my best friends lives in Montreal. So I got some ties to Montreal. I got some to Toronto and some to British Columbia. I love... Oh, okay. Actually, I think I have more ties to technically to Mississauga than I do Toronto. But one thing with... I loved Vancouver. Like, I'm sure it's like different to live there than just to visit, but... So is Mississauga considered, because I'm not super familiar, but is it considered to be like, I don't know, a bad suburb or something? Which is the vehicle I'm on? I'm on this one. Yeah. Oh, Mississauga is basically India. Oh shit, dude! Someone blew up that truck that we were all sitting in. That fucking sucks, dude. Whoever blew up that truck just got like 13 kills. Alright, now we're gonna do a walk-in simulator. Shit, dude. Also, what you have to do now is you gotta move to Wisconsin. Immigrate to the United States. Move to Wisconsin. Move to the middle of bumfuck nowhere, where I live. Oh, let's see.
What, did we get hit by a tank or something?
Yeah, some tank blew the shit out of the truck that I was in at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, I was with you. Wondered what happened.
Fucking annoying.
I'm just jealous of the dude that blew the truck up.
Yeah, he got some good kills there. The truck was full.
Yeah, it is hard to move, you know, when you're settled into a place. I definitely get that. It's like we were considering moving too. But it's like, especially with my business being established here, it's just really hard. And it's like, why would you know, if you have a good job, I mean, especially for me, I guess I could make it somewhere else more likely than not, but it's like, with such good flexibility and making good money and establishing a reputation. I mean, especially with this type of business, it's about networking and connections and building, you know, that reputation, getting referrals from people and being involved in the community and name recognition. It's hard to just pick up and move. Especially. So Minder, I think you said you were into hockey. Who's your team? Like, if you live around Toronto, does that mean that you're a Leafs fan? Medic. Let's see if this. His name is Flirt Then Squirt. Thanks, bro. Nice screen name.
Thank you. Oh, fuck.
Well, it happens. Okay. Hey, you guys, so Brock Bozer, Minnesota kid. I mean, like, you probably know already, but I'm Minnesota Wild fan, which is like an eternal curse.
They coming up that road.
This has been a terrible match so far, by the way. Shit. I'm gonna read a play. Yeah, did Saku Koivu play for the Canucks, or am I thinking of, did he play for the Jets or something like? No, he played for the Ducks. I'm thinking of. Well, Bozer's awesome. Like, I wish that the Wild had. Sean is in the chat now, and I know that he's a Wild fan. Did the Habs pick up Bozer, or does? Oh, Saku Koivu played for the Habs, are you saying? Yeah, okay. Well, it'd be nice if, I don't know, we were coveting Bozer for a while, because Sean can attest to this, but fucking, like, for some reason Wild fans have this, like, huge hard-on for players from Minnesota, because there is, generally speaking, and sorry, Sean, if you're a Minnesotan, but generally speaking, Minnesotans, like, are so infatuated with themselves and their state that they just have this love affair with themselves. It's not even like, on some sense it is a superiority complex, but on another level it's like a love affair. Oh, okay, so I knew Saku was with the Ducks, but I forgot that he was with the Habs for most of his career. Okay, Minder, my favorite player is Jonas Brodin and Joel Eriksson Ek. I'm probably mispronouncing their names. I think it's Joel Eriksson Ek. You correct me with the pronunciation. I'm terrible with it. Forsberg, that's awesome. My buddy who lives in Montreal, his dad worked press. Some kind of press or security or something at the Bell Center in Montreal, and so he would get free tickets and stuff, and he'd get access to the locker room. So when the Wild were in town, he had a bunch of, like, Mikko Koivu and stuff, and Mikael Granlund sign a ticket stub, and he sent it to me. Yeah, is Henrik Sedin, like, are the Sedins nice? I always wonder that, because they look like you don't want to fuck with them. Maybe that's just a Swede thing, is, like, very harsh looking people. Not harsh, but just, like, you know, stern. Wow. Sorry this isn't making for super entertaining. We're getting rocked by the same team that just destroyed us. Yeah, I always like it when people you like are like admire in sports are nice, or like famous people. I had an all Minnesota team is getting more competitive. No star centers, I think, is what they'd be missing. Didn't we have, wasn't there a really good Minnesota guy who was a center who played for the Islanders or something? There's a guy behind that. It's funny that in this game, even the screams from the different teams sound different based on their nationality. Shit, I just saw a guy crawling over there. No, I can't find him. That's it. I love being an MG42 gunner in this game. It's super overpowered.
There's a tank or some kind of vehicle.
Middlestad. Is that Casey Middlestad? Alright, so we got that one kill out of this whole match. Sorry, guys. Do you guys have good 4th of July plans? I think we're going to my parents' house. I really want the kids to see fireworks and to light off our own fireworks. So that was just like a really special part of being a kid for me. Come on. I don't see anybody. Oh yeah, sorry, Minder, forgot Canadian. Well, I mean, Dave Smith talks about the best 4th of July ever where, you know, everyone decided, I think it was in 2020, they said, fuck you, we're gonna have fireworks. So what do you guys think about the whole LP convention? Have you guys been following this? Maybe you don't care about it. The whole LP convention debacle with Chase Oliver being elected as the nominated rather. Oh, I see one. See one. See him. Got him. Got him. Zip. Oh yeah, and Minder, you probably don't care about the American LP. Maybe you do. I don't know. We'll put in the American arrogance that the entire world revolves around us. Yeah, for sure not a fan of Chase. One thing on it, if we're being honest, like, oh shit. One of the things that kept me out of making content for a little bit was, I hate publicly being wrong about things. And I don't think I was, but it was like, I was very vocal about saying it was a mistake to have Donald Trump come speak at the convention and being suspicious of exactly why that happened. Because the rollout was incredibly bad. And it made it look like we were endorsing Donald Trump as our nominee. And that definitely pissed me off. Because it was all just really lamenting the fact that, like, for me, it was being frustrated and pissed off that, you know, the whole Mises Caucus revolution was sold on the idea of Dave Smith running for president, and that not happening. And instead we get basically the LP endorsing Donald Trump. At least that's the way it appeared from the beginning. You know, from when he was first announced to be speaking at the convention. And I didn't, you know, agree at the beginning. I still didn't agree with the move even towards the end, but I became less opposed to it because there were mitigating factors, I thought. But, I find it funny when... Oh, shit. I'm getting shot at. I have no idea where that came from. There he is. Is that it? Yep. Ha! Ha-ha! Gotcha. Sorry, it's so satisfying after, like, getting your ass handed to you for an hour to be making some kind of progress. I told you I was a better machine gunner. I think, Sean, like, I put so little, like, I like Angela a lot as a person, and it's always easy to criticize from the sidelines, but I don't buy for a second any of the so-called promises and assurances, like getting an LP, a libertarian into Trump's cabinet. I'll believe it when I see it, and I'll eat my words if it happens, but I just don't buy it. Why get a libertarian into his cabinet when we could get Rand Paul into his cabinet without destroying the LP? And, like, who qualifies as a libertarian to Trump? Someone from the Cato Institute? Ah! I just kind of think that, you know, again, I'm not privy to the conversations that Angela's having with the Trump campaign, but now I don't think that Trump did speak, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that Trump did speak about Assange to the Libertarian Party. I think that the role that the Libertarian Party played, albeit a small role in getting Assange released, was that they facilitated some kind of conversations between important people at the LP convention. Wow, that was a hip shot. You see that? He talked about Albrecht at the Libertarian Party convention. I think here's one of the big deals is that there was a major there was a major rumor campaign or conspiracy theory by the Fakertarians that the Mises Caucus and Michael Heiss and Angela McArdle were Trump campaign operatives, and that they had met with I forget his name, but the CEO of Overstock.com, and that he planted the seed money for very early on. They said, this is what the Fakertarians say, is that very early on, Heiss met with the CEO of Overstock.com, and that he was very high up in the Trump campaign, and that he planted the seed money for the Mises Caucus to get off its feet. And they say that essentially from the very beginning, the Mises Caucus was an infiltration campaign by the Trump campaign to take the Libertarian Party and to swing it for Trump and to lock up all those votes for Trump because they could be the spoilers. And essentially, I don't buy into that conspiracy theory, but if it were true, would it look any different than what happened? I don't think it would. I don't think it would look much different. Certainly it would look different, but the result was that, you know, instead of having this strong candidate with bold, radical messaging that wakes people up, a la Ron Paul, we get, you know, and all due credit to Michael Rechtenwald, because he is a nice guy, although he had a complete meltdown after he lost. But you get him, a not very charismatic, unfit to be... I think he proved with his messaging after the fact that he was unfit to be the candidate in the first place for more than just charisma reasons. But that you get Chase Oliver being nominated for the president, you know, for as our presidential candidate, someone who is completely left, I mean, socially, that no Trump supporter would ever consider voting for Chase Oliver, and that they're all going to vote Trump now. I just don't see how, and the LP is effectively cratered. Their fundraising is in the tanks. Now, a lot of that had to do with sabotage. And my understanding is that Angela was not in favor of transferring over the fundraising software, which is where a lot of the donors were lost in that transfer. But effectively, I don't think it's any different. And now Angela is like almost actively campaigning for Donald Trump, using her platform to do that. Maybe Trump did mention Snowden and Assange. I just can't remember either. I didn't actually watch Trump's speech. Something tells me I'm not going to get up tomorrow morning at 5:45 and run. So, yeah, you guys let me know what you think about everything I just said. I don't know if I said this before on my other live streams. I mean, for me, it's like, I'm over Dave not running, even though, like, I think I voiced kind of being upset about it for a while. Like, in my mind, he's more than made up for it. And, like, he even apologized to me specifically on Twitter when I, like, was being butthurt about it on Twitter. Which for me, I think he didn't specifically owe me an apology. But I really appreciated that. Now I just, like, completely tempered my any expectations that I had of the Libertarian Party. Even the people in it that I like. Maybe that's Kaufman's rationale for it. I think there's... I don't agree with Kaufman. Like, well, whatever... I don't know exactly what his point is, but what you just said I don't agree with, because with one thing that you... Damn it! Fuck. Okay, so maybe Trump did mention Assange in his speech. What I was gonna say, what was I talking about? Oh, Kaufman and his... I think what that fails to take into account is the fact that with Donald Trump in office, you don't have the resistance on the right that you would otherwise have with a Biden presidency. Because you just have right-wingers, which in modern America, right-wingers are your most friendly to libertarian ideals. You don't have them... You get the worst of what they are. You know what I mean? When they're going along with Trump's... they support him. You don't get that opposition. So when fuck-ups happen, they really fuck up. Whereas opposed to, like, if Biden is the president, at least you have the right wing of the country resisting his stuff and rallying the country against him in some important ways that I think are sometimes more critical. Yeah, I got him. Sometimes more critical. More important. We really need to get involved in the action here, as opposed to just what this squad is doing is just trying to sneak up this corridor. But clearly, I don't know, a lot of the battle's happening down here. It looks like they're trying to infiltrate from the north. Oh, Minder, I was going to tell you that here's a tangential Swedish connection. Oh, shit. Fuck. One of my favorite rifles is a Swedish Mauser. I think they're called an M98. Oh, and I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, I took a murder case. Fuck. Oh, it's an M96, yeah. I knew that. I have two of them. One is a German, in Oberndorf, German, because there were three companies that made them. There was three factories that made them. There was the Oberndorf in Germany. There was the Carl Gustav's Armory. And I think that's outside of Stockholm. And then there was the Husqvarna factory that made them too. So I have two of them and I want to get all three. So I need a Husqvarna. Which, like, of course Americans, it's like, it's interesting that a company that makes chainsaws would make a rifle. Yeah, I'm sure they are. So one problem is that, like, I always, if a word is unfamiliar to me, I try to pronounce it how I think it would sound in German. American as fuck. That's awesome. Well, I assure you, Minder, that everyone around here calls Husqvarna Husqvarna. And Carl Gustav, I think it would be like Carl Gustav. They're going to destroy the OP, and then we're not going to have anywhere to deploy. Then we're going to lose the point, because we suck. Husqvarna. What about Carl Gustav? Gustav. Yeah, Sean, I'm very concerned that Billy G is signing these players, these aging veterans, that they're barring out their younger talent with no move clauses to aging veterans on term that is not friendly to the team. And it's going to make their contracts really hard. They're going to bar out these young, talented players. And, you know, I don't know, LaPanta and Russo say that LaPanta seems to think that these young players just haven't shown that they are capable of, they haven't earned the roster spots yet or even shown that they're capable of it. But I kind of agree with Russo. It's like, well, when are they going to get their chance? Carl Gustav is good, okay. It's like Husqvarna. That's like, yeah, there's that. Is there like, there's like a pause there or something? Husqvarna. Husqvarna. What does that mean? What is Husqvarna? Like, are they just names or is there, I mean, Carl Gustav is a name, right? But is Husqvarna, is that, does that mean anything or is it just a name? Accent on the consonants. There is this thing with German where, that I always find fun, is, I gotta get over there somehow, sorry. German speakers can tell the difference between, oh, I got one. Stadt and Stad. Like, one means city, and I don't even remember what the other one means. It's been a while. Oh, there's this other thing too, is that I know my wife is not watching this. Maybe she can hear me upstairs, but she... Shit.
There you got a machine gun. Get over here. Slide in there.
Sorry, I thought someone's talking to me.
Ammo down here below you too.
She... I forget the name of this language learning app that she uses, but I just don't think, it seems to me like it's more of a game than it is actually teaching you how to be fluent in the language, or how to like actually communicate in the language. And I wonder if there's any language learning application that actually makes you learn. Got one. I don't know. I'm okay with the Middleton signing, I guess. I just wish it was for shorter term. And I'm worried about Spurgeon coming back and if he's going to be good. If he's going to be the old Spurgeon. And I think Brodeen's going to be, you know, a top pairing defenseman for 5 or 6 more years, in my opinion. But Brodeen is my favorite player ever. Fuck! 99 Luftballons. And I am hoping that I picked up a Schwaben accent in my German from the time that I lived there, because I know that like some Germans will say no, 99 instead of 99. But I think it's more Schwaben to say 99. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Minder. Thanks for stopping by, man. I'm probably done here pretty soon. Let's see if I actually make it out to run tomorrow morning. Peace. Fuck.
Yep, there he is. Sweet, man. Good job.
I guess today is Wednesday, huh? We're getting our asses kicked. I just saw that Alan Mosley was doing his show and I was like, feels like Friday. So I was like, what? Wait, what? I love how there's basically no HUD right now. You have 5 kills. Crap. Fucking useless, dude. From where I was laying, I couldn't, like, deploy down. I couldn't pan down to where that guy was. Got one there. I like how I like to try and like look up over the fucking screen like it's gonna change my view. That was cool. Paranoid now about all these walking sounds. Kinda sounds like we repelled the entire attack. But no, there's enemies near the back of the base. Ah! I don't know. It looks like we got Salient 4-2 and we're moving on. To the Scar. And follow this guy. Whoa. Nine kills. 22 deaths. Great. Yeah, I mean, seems like, yeah, Faber played really, really well. It's a good problem to have for sure. I mean, I wonder if what's going to solve it is if Kaprizov decides he doesn't want to stay here long term, which I wouldn't blame him. God damn it. Well, the thing though, Sean, is that it's like, sure, I mean, Faber played well, and it's like now you got to get him paid, but it's also like, well, I mean, locking up aging veterans is eating up a whole huge amount of cap space that if you just it seems like, I mean, I do kind of trust Billy G, but if Russo is concerned enough to say like, hey, you know, you're really boxing out these young players and you're locking up aging veterans with no move clauses, what's the plan here? Like, and Russo says, well, it seems like you're just so much in, why do you feel like you have to put a team on the ice every year that's going to make the playoffs? Like, this eternal mediocrity. Or this eternal, like, you know, being good, not great. Kind of tempted just to be a rifleman. Support, yeah, not good enough yet to have the other loadout. Oh man, if I got a rifleman level 6, I could have a semi-auto. Yeah, I'm just so hesitant to give up on, like, I don't know, if I was Kaprizov, I wouldn't buy in to winning a cup here in the next 6 years. But at this point, like, I'm just so down on the Wild in terms of, like, they're a Minnesota sports team, and of course they're not going to win anything. Like, if there is a general manager that's going to win a cup in Minnesota, it's Billy Guerin. Though, I will say that. Like, clearly wasn't going to be Chuck Fletcher. Who's the guy after Chuck Fletcher? Forget his name. There was a guy after Chuck Fletcher, right? Yeah. Shit, I don't even fucking see where this guy is. Somebody just axed all those people. Dead. Paul Fenton. Yeah. I want to say I remembered that without looking at your chat. He's the one who sold off the old core, isn't it? Coyle, Niederreiter, and Zucker for a bag of pucks each. At least with Fiala, we got a gem. And then Fiala, like, if Fiala stayed with us, do you think that he would have turned into any, like, that he would have kept being a good winger? Because I don't think he's done anything in LA. Not that I've heard of, really. Damn it. Hey, we've been doing better with the rifle than we did with the machine gun. Ugh. This guy's gonna die because he caught himself on fire. Hate crime Mark is gonna revive me. Didn't we get some shitty player from the Hurricanes for Niederreiter? Shit, why did I stand up? Zucker was a 26 pick in Kalen Addison who didn't turn into anything. Granlund for Fiala. Okay, that was a good trade. Nino for Rask. Yeah, terrible trade. Coyle for Donato and a 5th. You know, Coyle was always a really good third line center. Like, I think, hasn't he been a great third line center for the Bruins? Yeah, I'm not sold on Boldy either because again, like, I would love to be proven wrong about this, but he just doesn't have a lot of that fuck you attitude, especially in the playoffs. Like, it just disappears in the playoffs. And he's kind of streaky, too. Well, Fiala puts up points, but how many points does he put up, you know? Is he a 60 point per year player? That's decent, but it's like, I don't know, that's, I don't know, middle 6? Second line points, isn't it? You know, there was a period of time, like, I can't remember which NHL game I was playing, but if you had Coyle and you played him a lot, he actually would turn into, like, a 93 overall center. And he would be a good first-line center in the game. Like, he had some promise for being a two-way power forward center. Oh, Fiala put up 73 points this year? That's pretty good, actually. That's kind of like Granlund numbers. A little better than Granlund. Wow. Just whiffed on those guys. Totally. They killed those dudes over there. Damn it. I knew my head was sticking out. Fuck. Okay, so Fiala's a 35 goal scorer. He's at least a second line center. He's like a top 6 forward. Or not a center, a winger. And he's Swiss, isn't he? I always like that about him. I like Niederreiter for that reason. I think in some ways Nino was kind of a bust, wasn't he? Because he was like a top 5 pick, but he never really turned into a high scoring. He was always like a middle 6 winger. Although I will always remember that Game 7 overtime winner with Brodziak in Colorado. That was the last time the Wild... I think that was the last time the Wild won a playoff series. It might have been either that or they beat the Blues like the year after or something. So they beat the Avs in 2014, and then in 2015 they beat the Blues. So they had 2 years in a row where they won a playoff series. Yeah. Yeah, there's a tank up there. I'm gonna die. Yep. Cam Talbot. Alright, I'm gonna call the night after this. After this spawn. Fun little session. For the most part. I mean, I guess I got like 15 kills this game. It'd be nice if my squad put up an outpost so I didn't have to run. We didn't have to run every single spawn.
That was for last time. We're even.
Alright, working our way up this little road here. Gonna die at any minute. Yep. Death. Ah. I'm thinking the Wild don't trade Gustafson, and the 3 Wallstead, Fleury, and Gustafson have goalie by committee, which will be okay. I think Spurgeon will come back and he will be like himself because he's done that before. God, I can't fucking hit anything. There. Sometimes I gotta get really close to the screen to see anything. There's a spawn there for sure. Damn it. Oh, okay, so I did destroy the outpost. There. I did a thing. There, 16 kills now. Trying to see where I stack up in terms of my squad mates. I think I'm kind of near the top. Not slouching by any means. Destroying an outpost is like getting 20 or 30 kills though. Just in terms of like the people you prevent from spawning in a strategic position. What? Well, this just fucking collapsed. Yeah, this is gonna be the end. There it is. Okay. Alright. Thanks for hanging out, man. Catch you next time.